spawning in the top right hand corner of Altitude, we have the Swedish I almost said Protoss. I'm too used to Starnan. We have the Swedish Zerg player representing Team Roddy for the first time on the CranKy Ducklings. It is Fjant. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Ragnarok Slayer himself, the Polish Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is Gerald. Let's go, Vaki, let's go. And I'm already shocked. A PvZ on Altitude? And we don't have a Korean? What were the vetoes, Bobby? What were the vetoes? Oh my god. Okay, so we're loading into the largest map in the map pool for game number 1. I'm already impressed. I'm already excited. I'm ready to go. Raring to go, even. As Fjant is going for a hatch gas pool, is forced to take the unnatural natural. Gerald was able to get here in time and is able to disrupt the initial base layout of our Zerg player. But outside of that, should be a pretty standard opener. Likewise, Gerald should be working towards his gate expand as well. Nothing too wild, just economic openers all around. It's all about the follow-up though. I'm curious. I'm curious because Gerald had a certain playstyle against Ragnarok, if you recall. He was like a little bit less focused on, or he didn't go for a double or triple Oracle opener into Blink Stalkers. He went for a more heavy Robo style into Archons, into faster Disruptors. He went for a lot of DT openers as well. And that worked wonders against Ragnarok. And I wonder if Geralt was just saving that or preserving that for a stronger player like Ragnarok, because Ragnarok is one of the best Zergs in Korea, or if that's just how Geralt plays out this matchup. We'll see. We'll see how he approaches Fjant. More of an up-and-comer, more of a dark horse in this group. As the probe's just being as annoying as possible. With the probe patrolling here at the natural location, it is going to force Fjant to make a couple of lings to try and dance with this probe. If we were on a smaller map, the probe could even pylon block and to try to buy a little bit of time for the adept to make it across the map. But because we're on altitude, that probably isn't going to happen, and this probe, yeah, should be getting the hell out of there. Is going to be chased away, and Fjant can now expand and take that third. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Geralt is going for a Stargate opener. As to be expected, as to be expected on a map like Altitude. We have seen a lot of Twilight Council openers into a Dark Shrine from Geralt, but I guess he's not opting to go for that, at least in Game 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he does whip it out at some point in this series, though. So the Adept does get across the map, and he isn't able to find too much economic damage. The Queen's in position, the Lings as well. Gets one Ling for his troubles, but not too much else. As the Adept is going to be forced back for the time being, but now with the inclusion of the second Adept, we can one-shot drones, and now this is that much more threatening here for Geralt. Fjant has to be very careful, has to make sure he's able to keep up here with the Adepts. Does throw down an Evo block. Oh, a little bit misplaced though, as that doesn't actually wall off that mineral line. Ling speed does kick in, and we are going to be able to clean up these Adepts. Only 2 drones go down. 2 drones for 2 Adepts. Pretty worthwhile here for the Zerg player. For Fjant, like pretty acceptable damage here for Fjant. As the first Oracle is zooming across the map, we have a second one behind this. Fjant just across the map, just looking to delay the third base or get an eye on the third. And there we go. Does find the probe, does get a kill, and is able to throw a wrench in the works of the build of Geralt. Meanwhile, no Spore here at the natural does force one to be morphed in. Thankfully, there were no more idle drones there either. So far, Fjant has been doing a great job at keeping up with the aggression of Geralt. Ling shop again. They should be able to focus... not quite. I was going to say, they should be able to focus on that probe, but they actually focused down the Adept. I think that was a bit of a misclick. And as a result, third base is going to go down. Lings do rotate back in, and they're going to be able to get us around. Geralt leaving his Adept exposed. Ay, ay, ay. Depth goes down. Ling's going to be able to chip away at this base, maybe even get a probe. This does also force these Oracles back for a moment. Does buy Fjant a little bit more time as the Oracles are now moving out once again across the map. Oh, and Fjant is going all in. Oh, and it's getting scouted. Oh, that's unfortunate, Papi. Ay, ay, ay. We had a fast lair, and I was about to ask what it was going to be for. It's for Ling Queen Nidus all in, but it has been spotted. We're taking 2 more gases. With these gases, it looks like we are getting ready for a transition, as they are unnecessary for Ling Queen Nidus all in. There we go. Drones are on the way. We can see Gerald getting ready back at home. The Nidus is cancelled. Very unfortunate location for it. And Fjant has to switch gears. Ling's going for another counterattack. Adepts are across the map. The Lings aren't back at home to defend, so there's a lot of potential with these Adepts that they do split up and shade into the natural and the third base at the same time. Oh. Drones are starting to fall. At least the Lings are able to keep up at least a little bit, but the Adepts do get 6 drones in total, and yeah, this is quite a lot of damage this early on. Especially considering the fact that Fjant did cut workers earlier for that Ling Queen Nidus. He's down to 45 workers, heavily supply blocked as well. He's going for a Spire because he has to make use of this lair in some way. He's just going to be continuing to lose some of these overlords as well. The Phoenix getting a lot of damage done. Back at home, Gerald is turtling on up. He was, of course, harassing initially with Adepts, but behind this, we have +1, Blink on the way. Double Forge, actually, from Gerald. Will be a very strong 2-2 timing in the future. And this is very similar to how he played against Ragnarok. He's just walling off, securing his 4 bases. He's going to be building up an army, building up a force. Mutas are on the way for Fjant. 5 mutas are enough to one-shot a worker. Nice. Actually got 10 mutas on the way. Jesus. That's a lot of mutas. And so far, the Spire hasn't been scouted. So, oh no. Yeah. So far, the Spire hasn't been scouted until now. Until now, we do have Phoenixes on the way. Gerald should be getting ready back at home with stack defense. His Stalkers are repositioning. And another 2 Adepts shade across the map. Not like this, Papi, not like this. First Phoenix will fall, so a little bit of miscontrol there by Geralt. And the second Phoenix does get pounced upon as well. There are plenty of Stalkers in position here to defend. We have to be careful not to blink, or not to be baited out by that blink. There we go. We are going to be able to protect that third base. 10 drones did go down in total across the map. The Oracles still have plenty of energy, by the way. They're still waiting for the moment to dive in. And these mutas haven't done too much for themselves. So far, Gerald doing a great job at splitting up his units, getting stack defense ready. Lings are going to be hitting that 4th base. Mutas dive into the 3rd. We do go for a recall. Just bringing back the Oracles. Okay. I mean, it scares Fjant away, to be fair. It does work. Oracles come back home. Got Sage Strats being thrown down. Gerald doing a great job at just solidifying his 4 bases. Fleet Beacon is on the way for Phoenix range. Oof. That's even more mutas for massive stage trap goes off. Another one goes off on every single one of these things. There's nothing left to support these mutas. They get picked off one after the other. Geralt could chase this down, but no, he's going to be waiting here for the Lings to come out of that stasis. Getting Rage to just clean up whatever he can. Oh. Really rough movement there from the mutas as well, as 3 more mutas go down. And this has been a rough game here for Fjant. GG gets called as the storm is revealed, and Geralt will take game number 1. Oh, GG. pretty solid game at that. Very good scouting as well from Gerald, which can be difficult on altitude just because of how large it is. There's kind of a lot of areas that you can hide your tech, you can hide your units. Unfortunately for Fjant, Gerald was able to see both the Nidus and also the Spire. And because we were initially going for a Nidus all-in, Fjant had already cut workers earlier on. He already just didn't have an economy designed to go into the mid-game. So yeah, just a really rough start there for Fjant. On top of that, Gerald was doing an amazing job at harassing the Oracles, the Adepts especially. We're getting so many drone kills. Oh. So really powerful performance there out of Gerald. And now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Gerald only needs one more win here to advance on for his rematch against Ragnarok. Fjant, though, is looking to fight back here and now, looking to maybe have his own crack at the Korean Zerg. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressfarm. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing South Korean Zerg. Well, you know, I was talking about Ragnarok. My brain was on Ragnarok. We have the Swedish Zerg player representing Team Roddy. Again, for the first time on the CranKy Ducklings, it is Fjant. Also, the reason why I stumbled a little bit initially, drones on the map. We're going for a proxy hatch. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressfarm, we have the Polish Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is Gerald. Oh boy, Gerald, he is probe scouting across the map, denying the initial hatchery here. Little does he know that there is a hatchery just across the map. Instead, it's going to be a hatch pool opener here from Fjant. With this drone especially, he's going to be able to throw down spine crawlers, make queens, make lings. Gerald needs to scout this ASAP. The longer this goes unscouted, the worse it's going to be here for Gerald. Now, we've been seeing a rise in popularity of this build, specifically on Gressfarm. The reason for that is because there's no ramp. There's no ramp, and the entryway into the natural is very large, so you have a lot of room to work with when it comes to your spine crawlers. Probe dives into the main, confirms the spawning pool here of his opponent, and he may have even checked the third base location as well. Here we go, he does go in, he does check outside his natural, he confirms the hatchery is about to finish up, and now how does he respond? So for those wondering, typically you respond with either a Stargate or a Robo in the main base. That's a very important part. If it's on the low ground, it is exposed and it is prone to being shut down and not finishing. Likewise, a Forge. A Forge is crucial as well because we have very limited production. Meanwhile, the first spine crawler is going to be denied here. Already a good start for Gerald. Backup spine is on the way. The lings are arriving. We do see Gerald going to try and force another cancel if possible. It looks like he will. He will barely get that cancel. Queens are on the way. This drone is very persistent. Oh, as a second Zealot has arrived, but lings are here. The Queen as well. These Zealots are going to be going down. That's a kill, not a cancel on the spine crawler. Very nicely done here by Gerald. But he's not taking this seriously. There's no Robo, there's no Stargate, there's no Forge, there's no cannons, there's no Warp Gate. There is one Stalker to defend. And we have so much surface area on these gateways. This is getting a little bit out of hand. One of the Zealots did survive. Bear that in mind. Oh, we do have a secondary wall off behind this. This gateway should go down, but now we do have two Stalkers. We are forcing Fjant back. The gateway will fall. The spine crawler is going to be able to leapfrog forward as well. Shield battery is delayed, by the way. I thought that was a shield battery. Uh-oh. Again, this is a very lax defense from Gerald. The wall is no longer a wall. The lings are flooding on in. This is getting out of hand. We do get a surround as well on the Stalker, on soon to be the shield battery. The Cyber Core is under threat. Warp Gate is not going to be able to finish up. Shield battery runs out of energy. We have an overcharge. Up. Oh, overcharge get pops. A second too late. The Stalker does fall. We have Fjant flooding into the main base. Overcharge is about to run out. With the death of that Cyber Core, only Zealots can be warped in. Not even warped in. What do we call it when we just make them out of the gateways? we can't warp anything in. And again, no Robo, no Stargate, no Forge, no nothing. Went straight into that Nexus. This was such a greedy response out of Gerald. He didn't take this seriously at all. Just overconfident. And the Lings, they've gotten out of hand. They get us around. That one Adept is the only thing keeping Gerald in this game, and it goes down. GG gets called. And Fjant ties up the series 1-1. GG. Oh. Aye. GG, well played. And yeah, Gerald's... so to be fair, I can't imagine Gerald plays against this too much, but as I say that, I mentioned it earlier, this build is most popular on Gressfan. It's Gressfan, and the other one is Ancient Cistern as well. Just because there's no ramp coming into the natural, so like that is when these proxy hatches are the most potent, especially on Gressfan. And yeah, Gerald, he was very lax, didn't take it seriously at all. He's like, "Mate, I'm fine." Gerald was on some solid copium, not gonna lie. Yeah, Fjant shows here that he is a player to be taken seriously, as he does tie up the series 1-1, and we are going into that ace match. Catching up in the chat, catching up. Shout out to Ranger, Bayaso, Clown is in the chat, alongside No Clone, to be fair, alongside No Clone. Hello Ordy, hello Sounder. I got my gin ready for some StarCraft. Let's go. Oh. See Secret on the chat. I'm now a Zerg fan. If I may, CranKy, need a Forge. I mean, I mentioned that earlier. I think I mentioned that like 3 times in the cast. No Robo or a Stargate or a Forge. Yeah, that was all mentioned. All mentioned. As we're getting into the ace match. But yeah, as we said in the cast, there's a lot that you do need to prepare and to take that seriously and to hold on, but alas, did not occur. And now we're getting into the ace match. We're getting into game 3, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the Swedish Zerg player representing Team Brody, tying up the series 1-1. It is Fjant. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player representing Storm Gaming, dropping game number 2. Oh boy, bleeding a little bit here to his Zerg opponent. It is Gerald. This time, no drone is sent out. This time, we do see the drone here chilling on the correct side of the map for Fjant. Of course, we're on Dragon Scales. We mentioned it earlier, but these proxy hatch builds are most prominent and most popular on maps that don't have a ramp coming into the natural. So as a result, we're not going to be seeing any kind of crazy shenanigans out of Fjant in the ace match, as it is the ace match as well. You know, it takes a certain kind of player to be hyper aggressive and cheesy when everything is on the line. And to be fair, everything was on the line in the last game as well. So yeah, shout out to the tenacity of Fjant, as we are setting up for a hatch gas pool opener this time, so a lot more standard. Also, fun fact, Gerald was far quicker, or he was far more quickly like going into the main base to just get a rescout, or just to figure out what was going on, just to make sure that there was no early spawning pool, no early gas geyser. Gerald taking this much more seriously, or being that much more scared. Let's go. And I'm getting a little bit of deja vu. So earlier today we casted Gerald versus Ragnarok, and here on Dragon Scales we were able to see Gerald mix up his openers and go for a Twilight Council. If you recall, he went for a Twilight Council into a Dark Shrine opener. Is he willing to do that here against Fjant? It did feel quite solid overall. I mean, it worked quite well against Ragnarok, so I wouldn't put it past him, but based on this pylon location, it looks like he isn't too concerned with hiding his tech. It's looking more like a Stargate opener instead. As we do have Gerald once again just being a little bit annoying with this probe. is going to be forced away, and Fjant should be able to get his third base nicely up and running. Meanwhile, we were talking about it. It is going to be that Stargate opener. Again, typically you do want it a little bit further out just to minimize the travel time, the travel distance between the Oracle and the bases of your opponent. But just because it is going to be an Oracle opener doesn't mean that we're going to be seeing standard play out of Gerald, because we haven't seen, say, a double Oracle opener into Blink Stalkers at all this game, or at all tonight. The entire broadcast, Gerald has been far more aggressive than that. As the first Adept does rock up, does already get one drone kill. Looking for a second, won't quite be able to get it. Fjant is able to keep up and zone away that Adept. And with that, Gerald is just going to be backing off, regenerating those shields, and joining forces with his second Adept here. We were talking about this earlier, but of course, with two Adepts, you can one-shot drones, so these are far more deadly, have to be taken a little bit more seriously, and Fjant is looking to keep up with them. Link speed does now kick in, so he should be able to be in position here, and shouldn't allow these Adepts to get out of control. Meanwhile, first Oracle is zooming across the map. That's going to be on Fjant to make sure he's in position. We have two Queens at the natural or at the third base. No Spore. Likewise, two Queens in the main. No Spore either. So depending on the Queen movements, we can see this being punished. Oh, as a couple of transferring workers are caught out, one drone does go down. Behind this, we have that third base on the way. And, oh my god, okay. We have a third base on the way, followed by a Phoenix. Meanwhile, the Adepts shade on in before we can really talk about what Gerald is up to. Even more drones are going down. The Oracle barely does survive, getting 2 drone kills. I can't say the same for those Adepts. And yeah, this is very greedy out of Gerald. This is like Showtime-esque. So he goes for a faster third base behind this. He delays his Twilight Council. He delays his Robo in favor of 2 Forges instead. This is exactly how Showtime plays. Except he makes more Oracles, to be fair. He makes 4 Oracles. As the Lings do go for a counterattack, they get eyes on the third base. With this surround, they're going to be able to get one of these Adepts. They're going to be able to get the second and the third. Good amount of damage is being done, but the shield battery finishes up just in time. Geralt will hold on to his third base. Behind this, the greed is upon us. 1-1 on the way for Geralt. Again, still no Twilight Council, still no Forge. Without, of course, those tech buildings, I don't think Geralt intends to be very aggressive at all. Not until eventually he does take up a little bit further and refine his army. For the most part, he's just more defensive back at home. With these Phoenixes, they're able to deny scouting, deny vision. Ling's doing what they can, but no, there are plenty of Oracles at home to defend. And as Geralt is being greedy, Fjant likewise is trying to resaturate his bases, make up for all those dead workers from earlier. Looking at the units lost tab, only 4 drones have gone down, so not that many losses overall. Pretty acceptable damage has been dealt here for the Zerg. As he's gonna be going for +1, but not +1 melee, he's going for +1 range instead. It's going to be a much more roach-heavy composition from Fjant. Adepts and Oracles are across the map again, just being as aggressive as possible, trying to be as annoying as possible as well. Looking to chip away at that 4th base. We do commit to the shade, but no, Lings are here. The Oracles do support the Adepts, though. They do force these Lings back, and the Adepts, they head into the mineral line. Uh-oh. Able to get one of those drones. Not too much damage is done, but no, we shade into the main base, getting even more drone kills. The boys are being pulled as well. Ay, ay, ay. Fjant had, honestly, a pretty good start to this game. He had minimized so much of his losses, but now another 6 drones go down. The Oracles survive. And this has gotten a little bit out of hand. Now Geralt has the economic advantage back at home. We're working towards even just mixing in Void Rays, because why the hell not? You have the Templar Archives. Now we have the Twilight Council. Again, Blink, of course, is delayed, but we're not really moving out with our main army anytime soon. And when we do move out, we're going to hit a very strong timing with 2-2. Like, this 2-2 timing is going to be brutal. Before that happens, the Phoenixes arrive, and oh my god, we're even bullying back these queens. Queen goes down. Fjant is being forced into his push. I mean, he hasn't saturated his 4th base at all. He's pretty committed. He's looking pretty all in with this. Not gonna lie. He has to end the game here and now. But that's why the Void Waves are crucial, because we need anything we can to defend. The Red Ravager gets on top of the army. The boys are... Oh, the whole position micro actually from these workers. Doing a lot of damage, or doing a lot here to just kind of disrupt the attack of Fjant. Stalkers arrive. A lot of probes are going down, but this is a one-way trip. The Void Rays, the Skytoss army here is eventually going to clean this up. And what is Fjant getting for this? He gets 12 probe kills, and he's still behind economically. Ay, ay, ay. Again, it just goes to show how behind he was, how committed he was. He's sending his roaches back home. Fjant, does he know about the 4th base? He doesn't. Not yet. He doesn't know how dire the situation is. Meanwhile, we're still waiting a little bit longer. We're about to have Storm. 2-2 is going to finish up in a couple of seconds, and once it does, Gerald can finally be active on the map. Until then, he's still waiting to receive. Fjant still hasn't droned, by the way. He's going for a second wave. He's going for a second round. Storm is done. It's not going to do too much damage to these roaches, but you know, it does soften them up a little bit. Oh, Void Rays, they check, and they do confirm the lack of workers at the 4th. They should be able to get that hatchery. The rich army of Fjant needs to get more damage done. Right now, he's dancing between the bases, but he's not really getting too much done. The trades with the Stalkers, but Gerald, he's just buying more time, blinking back to the safety of his natural. Void Rays across the map are being cleaned up by the Queens, thankfully. But the Rich Ravager this time doesn't get anywhere near the mineral lines. No economic damage is done. 2-2 kicks in. And Gerald, he doesn't just shut down the army. Now he can move out. Now he can go for a counterattack. What do we have at home to defend? We've still got roaches. We got the Queens. We got Transfuse. Yeah. I mean, Fjant, he's just trying to muster up as much of his army as he can. He's getting ready for the assault. Reality is, Geralt, even though he has a really strong timing with his upgrades, he doesn't have to push in. Like, he is so far ahead right now. If he wants to, he can just focus on defending. He can tech up even further. He can go towards Sky Toss or start working towards Colossus or Disruptors. The world is Geralt's oyster. And he's getting caught out in the middle of the map a little bit here. He does bleed out some of these Stalkers. And Fjant, he wants a fight, but not against Void Rays. Not against this army. Roach is going for a bit of a counterattack here on the left-hand side. Do we have anything in position? No, we do not. This could do a lot of damage. Good amount of probes are going to be going down. The Nexus is being focused as well. This is a good start, but Fjant is still limping along. That's going to get the Nexus up, up. Looks like the Nexus will go down. At the same time, the main army is going to be laying siege upon the 3rd base as well. Gerald's being pulled out of position. But it looks like Fjant wasn't able to capitalize on that. He does go for the High Templar. Every single High Templar goes down. No more storms are available or feedbacks. This is probably the best fight that Fjant could have hoped for. As he's trying to push on through, Lings are reinforcing. We have the overcharge. And with that, this Stalker army is not dying at all. He's fighting back. He's cleaning up the Queens. And soon getting on top of these Ravagers. It was a good effort by Fjant. Hey, he gets another 16 probes, to be fair. Gets a lot of damage done. But there's no longevity to this. Like, there's no economy. There's no upgrades. No tech. +2 just now starts. That's an ambitious +2. I don't know if the game is going to last that long, to be honest. He did do a lot of economic. He got 16 probes, you know, that's good damage, don't get me wrong. Oh. But Fjant gets caught out of position. The Stalkers, they move it through the left-hand side of the map. They take down another hatchery, and we can just recall back home. Oh, even the 2 Stalkers, man. I mean, we didn't even need to recall. Meanwhile, a Zealot Rambai is here, laying siege upon the 3rd. Forcing more lost mine time, killing more drones. Drones that we haven't been able to remake. Drones that we haven't been producing. Behind this, Gerald isn't taking up any further. He's working on +3, and now we're going to have a +3 timing, which is insane. +3 against the +1 of Fjant. And he's doing what he can. I would, if we were in Fjant's shoes, what would be the best answer right now? Other than of course going for harass, and he's doing so, like he's trying to go for these Roach Rumbais. I would say, especially because we're really Roach Ravager heavy, probably Infestors, an Infestation Pit to sneak in like 2, maybe 3 Infestors. Maybe that could make the difference, but it's really difficult. Like Fungals, sure, they can help support this army, but this army needs more than a little bit of support is the problem. I mean, we were all in to begin with, and you're all in for a reason, or we call it that for a reason. It's just so difficult to transition from this point. As once again, the High Templar are being caught out. For a Ravager army pushing on forward as well. Not a bad trade from Fjant. But these Zealots, they're getting so much done here. They close the distance. They slice up a good chunk of those Roaches. Not like this. At the same time, yeah. We were already all in, but the economy is just being crippled even further here from Fjant. This may just be his ditch effort, his final push, his final stand as he attempts to break this 4th base again for a second time. Immortals are coming out from behind. Pretty exposed Immortal, but yeah, we have plenty of Stalkers in the vicinity. 21, 22, oh my god, it's too much. Stop, Bappy, stop. He already doesn't have an economy. Leave him alone. Ah. 23 more drones go down. Not like this. And even though, like, you could see this and you could be like, Fjant technically has the supply lead, like the army supply lead, but this is where the soup does lie. Roach Ravager is inflated supply, so even if the number is higher, it actually doesn't really mean that. The quality of army of Gerald is just that much greater than his opponents. Zealots, the Stalkers, the Archons as well as we blink on forward, and it looks like finally the core of this army is going to get picked off. A couple of Ravagers do escape. Another, I almost said Zealot Rambai. No, the Oracle is going to kill the hatchery. Oh my god. As the 3rd base goes down, Ravagers are being caught out, and you know, a shout out to Fjant for fighting his heart out and for forcing the ace match as well. For even almost coming back in this game, getting a lot of probe kills earlier and even sniping the 4th. He had some really nice moves, but there it is. GG well played. Good. GG well played. Good luck in the next game as Gerald takes the series 2-1 and Fjant taps out. GG well played. Congratulations to Gerald, but a shout out to Fjant again for making a series out of this, for taking a game. This was a really interesting all-in from Fjant as well. I'm very used to like the Dimaga style of all-in, where Dimaga, he goes for 3-way saturation, which is around 66 drones, up to 70 drones max, and then you just make nothing but Lingbane Roach Ravager and you just rally across the map and you snowball and you try to break the 4th, break the 3rd, and get out of control. And with that amount of workers, like, you do have quite a lot of sustain. You can sustain that army for quite some time, and that's why Dimaga has a lot of success with that. He's like the king of the 3-base all-in, or the 3-base saturation. Unfortunately, Fjant, he actually cut workers far before that. I want to say he capped at 56 or 54. It was one of the two, at a very low drone count. To be fair, part of that may have been just because he was losing a lot of workers. Like, he did stumble his way into his all-in, or maybe he was forced into the all-in because he was losing so many drones. Regardless, that did really cripple the push and did slow him down. It gave Gerald a lot of time, and yeah, he was making all the right moves. You know, he was making void rays defensively back at home, getting shield batteries, cannons ready as well. He was so prepared for that push, and as a result, GG, well played. Gerald does advance on into the next round, where he is going to have a rematch. We casted it earlier at the very beginning of the broadcast. Ragnarok fell to Gerald. Gerald took down Ragnarok 2-1 in a massive upset. But now it's a rematch. Now Ragnarok is once again going up against Gerald, looking for his revenge. No boy.